Hi, this is Average Don coming at you with another video of what I have watched this week. Now, technically, this is a show that I've been watching like all month, along with all of you, but it's been released weekly and weekly. But before I jump into that, I just want to say this is my second to last video. I decided that I'm going through with the video on Thursday, which will be my last video before I go on vacation the following day, which I'll be gone for around 3 weeks. So there's more information on that. I talked about that in the last video. But I watched this week. Technically this month, like I said, I watched Loki on Disney Plus. Of course, a lot of people watch that. It's very popular. It's part of the MCU. Basically, it's the latest from the MCU. So, did I notice anything different? No, I don't think so, but I still liked it. I still loved it just the same. So, and the blue thing in my eyes, I always have to tell you that's my script, that's my laptop, that's right there. Holds everything, so if I'm looking at here, just know that's my script. Alright? So, of course, episode 1 starts with it's called A Glorious Purpose. Now, it starts with Loki in 2012. Loki in 2012, he is in Captain America. Uh, he's in Captain America Winter Soldier. He is just getting arrested for Avengers 1, where he basically just tried to take over the world. Tried with the Shintari army. All they tried with invasion, it did not work. But he escaped using Tesseract, which is this Infinity Stone, which is very powerful to transport you anywhere. So the Infinity Stone gets kicked to him in a scene where he's supposed to be going to a holding cell or something. And he escapes. And transports to the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. And it turns out he's a variant of the Loki that died in Endgame. And the TVA has come to arrest him, the Time Variant Authority. And they keep guard of the sacred timeline to avoid another multiversal war. The timeline with new Loki is reset. He's going through all the stuff you need to verify yourself in the TVA. He goes through, and I think the funniest part in this episode is when he goes to this dude who's just like, okay, please sign here to verify this is everything you represent. And he says, what? And the printer goes off. He's like, and sign here. This is absurd. And the printer goes off again. It's like, and here. And of course he signs it. And then he meets timekeepers. He figures out there's Nexus events or there's just apocalypses that in the timeline for people. He picks a ticket and gets he gets taught by their AI Miss Minutes. There is this variant that's hopping around, this dangerous variant that they're trying to kill. That sets off that leaves like little hints, little traces of all this stuff, all this variant items or items that shouldn't exist in that timeline. I know this girl has a kablooey gun, kablooey gum, and so stuff like that, little snacks. So anyway, we go back to the TVA where Loki's getting judged in front of a judge, Judge Renslayer. And he's wondering why the Avengers aren't getting punished for time traveling, because that wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently it was. And Loki tries to use magic in the TVA, of course, but that can't happen. The rules are weird. But Agent Mobius is here to save the day. He's an agent that works with the TVA. He's played by Owen Wilson. I love him. I love him. Man, he needs help, and no one else can help him but Loki. And they go in an elevator, and he's like, "Why are you so quiet?" And Loki's like, "I don't love to talk." And Agent Mobius just like, "That's a lie, because we both know you love to talk. Talky, talky, talky." He has never heard of the TVA before. Loki's never heard of the TVA before because he never needed to. Time flows differently in the TVA. And Agent Mobius, he hunts dangerous variants. Those that stray from the timeline anyway. And he believes that Loki is not a dangerous variant. And Loki says the biggest lie is freedom. And Mobius shows him the sampling of his greatest hits, or like when he gets destroyed by the Avengers, when he killed Phil Coulson. And what I mean by killed, if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he got killed. When he portrayed a D.B. Cooper, which means he put a bomb on an airplane because he lost a bet to Thor. He also showed Loki's future, where in like Thor: The Dark World, where he sent monsters up the staircase he thought was going to Thor, but it went to his mom, so he accidentally got his mom killed. And then where he gets stabbed by Thanos in Infinity War. As Loki is left alone for 30 seconds, he uses time to escape. Finds out the Tesseract and the other Infinity Stones are completely useless in the TVA. Then he starts thinking to himself, this is the greatest power in the universe. And Loki transports back to the room where he and Mobius were talking. And Mobius leaves him again for some reason. He sticks the time collar on TVA guard. Meanwhile, in like Selma, Oklahoma in 1858, something is happening. There's a lot of oil on the ground, a lot of research are stolen, there's a fire lit. We find out a little of who we're chasing. Apparently, Loki is helping to find Loki. That ends episode 1, Glorious Purpose. It starts episode 2, The Variant. We go to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, 1985, where, I Need a Hero starts playing. There's a big fight at this Renaissance Fair. It's against the TVA and the Loki variant. Maybe if Loki succeeds with Agent Mobius, he will grant an audience with these so-called timekeepers, the masters, the big ones at the TVA. So Loki's now interested. He's investigating after the fight. He sees a scheme, like the Loki variant wants them to go outside, so they have to stay in the tent. But Agent Mobius is like, is he lying? Loki's are known to lie. So, of course, they step outside, they reset the timeline. Loki wants to charm the TVA then he control them. He's on his last chance with Agent Mobius. Now he's got some serious work to do. Paperwork. Gotta go through some files. Wants to read up on the TVA, so he orders some files on the TVA creation and some files from the beginning of time, but they all are classified. He can only get a file from on the destruction of Asgard. And he discovers something, or rather someone. And it turns out that the other Loki is hiding in these apocalypses or Nexus events, because it turns out if you do anything before Nexus event, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't change the timeline. He wants to prove this. So he goes to Morbius with the information, and he's like, yeah, I can prove this too, let's go to Apocalypse, let's go to the timeline. So they go, he convinces Agent Morbius, they go to Pompeii, right before the really big and famous volcanic eruption. Loki causes shenanigans there, and nothing is reported, nothing is seen. So it turns out to be true. So we go back to the TVA, Mobius has a magazine on jet skis, and nobody believes that free will exists, and Mobius is like, no one bad is ever really bad, no one good is ever truly good. Then they find kablooey gum. Kablooey gum again in Pompeii. So it turns out that those things, like the kablooey gums, are Nexus items. Items that are found in Nexus events. Now they go to Alabama in 2050. They go to the store called Roxxcart, which has this Class 10 apocalypse. And Hunter B-15 is deployed. And this Loki versus Loki fight goes on, where the other Loki's like, this isn't all about you. And turns out that variant is a Lady Loki. And there's a code 000, which basically just means to bomb the timeline. Now Lady Loki escapes through the portal, in which Loki goes through the mysterious portal. And that ends that episode. Next episode is Loki episode 3, Lamentus. Now, it shows that Sylvie was mindjacking B-52, showing her past, and she can create new memories, There's a badass fight between Loki and Sylvie. Sylvie is her name. Sylvie, puts the portal down, goes through it, Loki goes through it too. Turns out that portal went to Lamentus 1 in 2077, which is another apocalypse. Sylvie tries to mind control Loki, but his mind is too strong. Loki tries to scare they go on to this arc, that's leaving the apocalypse. They figured that'd be a good cue or whatever. So Loki decides to disguise himself as someone who works on the ark, so he can mind control the guards that let them in. So as long as there's some physical contact between them. And they sit down on the train and they discuss stuff. They're like, Sylvie taught herself magic. She goes to sleep for a little bit. She wakes up. Loki is singing and doing an Irish jig. which includes a line these things come home. And at the end of the jig, he grabs this store. He's like his older brother. And he's like, another. And then he smashes his drink on the ground. Now, they're supposed to be lying low, of course. Of course, nothing is attracting more like an Irish jig and smashing of a drink. Of course, they attract attention. So Loki and Sylvie, they fight guards. And Loki gets kicked off the train and he smashes the temp pad that's in his back pocket. Sylvie jumps off the train with him. And now the temp pad is broke. The way that they can make portals is broke, so now they have to actually escape an apocalypse. So they plan to hijack the train and escape Lamentus 1. Then turns out that everyone at the TVA is just variants that were kidnapped from the timeline. We learned this because when Sylvie was in Hunter B-15's mind, she can't create new memories. He showed her a lot of memories that she didn't know. That maybe Hunter B-15 was mind wiped or something. She can't create them, but they're already there. So that ends episode 3. Episode 4, going to the Nexus event. Now, find out that Sylvie was taken from the TVA when she was very young. Now, Sylvie actually just grew up in Apocalypse. She ran away from the TVA. And there's a magnified Nexus threshold. Now, they're still facing the death of Lamentus 1. They're still facing the apocalypse. But the TVA catches and arrests both of them. Well, they're just like, the TVA is lying to you. And then Loki gets stuck in a time loop. They force, the TVA agent Mobius, they force Loki into a time loop. And Lady Sif is mad at Loki for cutting off her hair and needs him while braiding him. And how time loop works is it happens every few minutes. It repeats itself. But Loki does not repeat himself. He still feels the pain. So he tries to reconcile with her a few times, because what else are you going to do in time loop? But it doesn't work. It does not work. And she's just like, she holds Loki and it says, "You are alone and always will be." And Agent Mobius wants to interview Sylvie, but Renslayer just won't let her. And Loki doesn't want to go back to the time that began when Agent Mobius pulls him out. It's like, are you sure that everyone's lying? And Loki's like, yeah, everyone's kidnapped with erased memories. And Agent Mobius goes back to Wednesday and it's like, why wasn't I allowed to interrogate Sylvie? And goes back to Loki. Loki needs to trust Agent Mobius. And then Prince Sarah catches up to Mobius and she prunes him. And their motto is for all time, always. Now that they go to the timekeepers, and they'll decide to fight. Well, they'll decide to fight Loki, and Sylvie takes off the timekeeper's head. It was fake. It was a robotic head that just falls off. So who created the timekeepers? And Loki gets pruned. And he's just like, is this how This is hell because he wakes up and he finds 4 Loki variants. And that ends that episode. And here's episode 5, Journey into Mystery. Turns out this place is called the Void. And it's guarded by this huge cloud beast thing called Elias. And it turns out that when anything gets pointed, they aren't erased. They're actually sent back to this thing called the Void. And what permanently erases them is if they get eaten or devoured or damaged or whatever by this beast thing called Elias. So there's a mystery. And one of the first mysteries is what the heck is Elias? Because, I don't know, it's like a cloud shark beast thing. But there's a couple other Lokis. There's like Crocodile Loki, there's Kid Loki, there's Classic Loki. And what made them all variants? Well, we don't know about Alligator Loki, but I know Classic Loki, he was a little more isolated. And Kid Loki actually killed Thor. And everyone's just like, is there something beyond the Void? Maybe a Void spacecraft can get them through the Void. Sylvie took one of Wednesday's temp pads, so they have a way out of there if need be. And Sylvie pruned herself and acted defiance. She thought she was going to get deleted, but she got teleported. Now, Classic Loki, he isolated himself. He didn't get killed by Thanos, but he got lonely and wanted to visit other people. So when he stepped out of that isolation, the TVA was waiting and they automatically arrested him. So Loki wants to just kill Elias. Now Loki and Sylvie aren't together. Mobius comes and saves Sylvie and just randomly drives up to her in like a pizza car. Whatever. Takes her, snatches her up, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna go find Loki. And Loki's all go to this like hangout warehouse, not warehouse, but hangout place, hangout bunker fort place. Another Loki variants arrive. Now they start a fight. Now Crocodile Loki actually chomps off the hand of presidential Loki. My Classic Kid and regular Loki, they all escape. And we see things get pointed on like a ship, and then they get destroyed by Elias. And they're wondering, they're cannibalistic pirates or cannibalistic martyrs, But they all run into each other, like Sylvie and them. They all run into each other. They discuss the plan, and Sylvie's like, no, this is a horrible plan. I'm going to enchant them. Wednesday talks to Hunter B15 or C20. It's either one. Where the Hunter is just like, people need to hear the truth. And Wednesday it's just like, no, we need to be a staple, stability over truth. C goes for all the files, the creation of the TVA at the beginning of time. Now it gets cold, in the Void. So Loki conjures himself up a jacket that he and Sylvie can share. And they're going up to Elias now. So Kid Loki gives regular Loki his short sword. And then Loki bids his farewells to everyone. including Agent Mobius, who's just like, what are you going to do at the TVA now? Agent Mobius just like burned it to the ground. Which is basically what Loki said to Agent Mobius in the first episode. And Loki, when they're all fighting Mobius, actually fires up sword to distract Goliath. In classic Loki, sacrifices himself. He uses like magic or something to distract Goliath. A lot of magic, which works, and Loki slowly enchants Goliath. And then a door randomly appears. And they go through it. And that ends that episode. Alright. Now we go on to episode 6. It's called For All Time Always. Now the intro to this, is different. There's a lot of voices from the MCU's past. Including Nelson Mandela, so it might mean that there's a Mandela effect going on in the MCU. But yeah, of course there's Loki, there's Sylvie, there's Miss Minutes, and then there's this person at the end of the time, who is called He Who Remains, and he sits at the Citadel at the end of time. Now he actually claps, he applauds Loki and Sylvie for coming to meet him and stuff, and now he's facing death, and he's just like, well, what would you all like to do back in your timelines? I can set you in a timeline where you both are together, and you can have the Sword of Asgard, and you don't have to die at Thanos. But no, Loki refuses. But Sylvie does try to stab him. He has super fast teleportation. Yeah. And back at the TVA, Agent Mobius and Hunter B-15 are finding out about Judge Renslayer, and she has a secret. Her original self was the principal of a high school. And back at the Citadel at the end of time, He Who Remains can see the future for at least a short time, because Sylvie just tries fighting him and he keeps dodging all of her attacks perfectly. I mean, perfectly. So, Agent Mobius and Renslayer have a little talk, have a little chat. And, he was like, I thought we're supposed to be friends across all time. How last till the end. And he's like, you betrayed me. She's like, no, you betrayed me. I was guarding you. I was protecting you. All that stuff, and they have that argument. And he's just like, what's all this with the free will? I thought we all had free will or something like that. Ransayer's like, no, only he who remains has free will. And back at the Citadel, He Who Remains has many variants. Some being like priests, some being conquerors, like maybe Cain the Conqueror, but who knows? But he keeps the timelines in check. He keeps the sacred timeline, because he doesn't want another multiversal war like what happened in the past. What happened is a scientist, the first variant, the scientist version of himself, found out there's many versions of him, many universes, many multi-universes, where they actually exchange secrets and everything. exchange secrets, exchange goods, and whatever. And, all the universes thrived until there was a couple conquering ones that were discovered, conquering variants that were discovered and did not like that. And they wanted to conquer. So, one thing led to another with all this violence and stuff, and started with a multiversal war. So, one of the variants grew up and realized, hey, this isn't good. So, then he tried to end the war, at least knocked back some of the variants and created the TVA to seal up the timelines and not release the multiverse. So, he also found Elias and learned to weaponize it, so that was a huge plus. Now, he gives Loki and Sylvie a choice. You can either kill him, destroy the TVA, open up the multiverse, have another war again, or they can help the TVA actually and create better timelines that prosper. Either way, he's going to end up back at the throne anyway. So, especially now they crossed the threshold. Now, since they crossed the threshold, he who remains doesn't know the future anymore at all. But Loki's like, maybe he's not lying. I know liars, and he's not lying. And he says to Sylvie, we kill the dictator, but who takes his spot? Is there someone worse? Is there someone better? Who knows? I can't leave that up to chance. So then Sylvie and Loki just start fighting. And of course, Sylvie just wants to kill he who remains. Loki doesn't want to kill him at all. Because he's like, yeah, who's going to be worse? And then Sylvie has a romantic moment with Loki. They kiss. And then she pushes him back in the portal, which releases him back into the TVA. Maybe the TVA is a little different though, because Agent Mobius does not recognize Loki at all. Maybe it's the TVA in another universe, or Agent Mobius might be playing the long con. I don't know why he'd be doing it, but he might be, because everyone's like saying, oh, maybe he got his mind wiped or whatever. I don't think that, because I think Judge Rent's there teleported before, and she didn't say anything. If that makes sense. So either it's a different TVA, which I don't know if multiple ones existed in the past, or if Agent Mobius just playing the long con. But then Sylvie kills, he remains. Yeah. And Agent Mobius and Hunter B-15 are looking at the timeline. And I see 63 new branch timelines, just like for all time, always. And that's proof that they freed the timeline, that Loki and Sylvie, they freed the timeline. And that's where the season ends. I thought, of course, this is a Marvel timeline. I thought this was beautiful, and especially the beginning of episode 5, it's one of the best. It's one of the best that Marvel has done, especially for the shows. They're putting a lot into these shows, which is awesome. It gives us Marvel content, especially when we weren't getting any last year or anything. And this year they just hit the ball running. give us one of his, and which was great. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and now Loki and Black Widow. They just been topping themselves. I love it. I love. Well, I just love. But what did you all think? Did you guys watch all the episodes yet? Let me know in the comments down below. You can also check me out on my social medias. My Instagram is at TRIPL3XXXMayhem. My Twitter's at Real Average John. My Facebook is at Official Average John. If you don't understand me, that's okay. It's all going to be down in the description below. Also, I'm going on vacation this week, so that might be where you see a lot of videos and pictures that I post. Not from here on out, but I go on vacation starting Friday. So I don't have more information. I posted more information. You guys will know. But anyway, like I said, what do you guys think of Loki? Have you watched Loki? Just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you all on Thursday. See you.